And that would be awesome. All right, Brecky.
Valley Forge was a valley that the American soldiers spent the winter.
All right, good job, Breck. Oh, we're gonna read the whole story. So, all right. I guess this is all the light I'm gonna get. All right. So, the general stood tall on the stony ridge at Valley Forge, surveying his troops below, and anyone that made a noise, he would immediately have shot by a big bunch of guys with guns. So everyone better be quiet. All right. It's one of those stories, guys. All right. The December night was clear, but the wind cut cruelly through his heavy coat. The general shook his head, shrugging the cold aside. It was his men he was worried about. For more than 2 years, his army had been at war. The general had not expected the fighting to be easy. War was never easy. But some of his soldiers lacked weapons to defend themselves. Others were without coats or shoes, and nobody had enough to eat. An army of skeletons, one witness had called them. There you guys go. There's a picture. You got to look fast. It's war. You got to move fast. Oh, look at that. They're up on the big screen and everything. Oh, go one back, though. One back. There you go. The snow crunched dryly under the general's boots as he walked through the camp. In one crude hut, a young soldier was sitting at a small table. The general watched from the doorway in silence. The soldier was lighting a candle. The flame flickered for a moment and then grew steady. All the while, the soldier was speaking softly, too softly for the general to catch his words. The general cleared his throat and oh, excuse me. And startled the soldier jumped up. "General Washington," he cried. His commander-in-chief nodded. "A cold night, is it not?" he said. The soldier swallowed nervously. "Truly it is, but no colder than my home back in Poland," he paused. "And there not only is the weather cold, the laws are cold as well. If my family were to light a candle tonight, they would have to do it in secret. But that will not stop them, for this is the first night of Hanukkah." "Hanukkah," the general repeated. The word was unfamiliar to him. "The name for a celebration. I was just finishing a prayer in Hebrew, sir, in honor of what once happened." "Ah, then you are of the children of Abraham." The general's gaze was intent. "Tell me more of Hanukkah." The soldier stared at the candle for a moment, and then he began to speak. "Over 2,000 years ago," said the soldier, "my people, the people of Israel, were ruled by Antiochus, a Greek king from far away. He did not permit them to pray to their God and follow their customs. He wanted them to worship his gods, the Greek gods." General Washington nodded. "The fight for liberty is an ancient one, and no one likes squirming under the thumb of a distant king." The soldier looked at his candles. "In my homeland, I could not follow my beliefs either. That is why I came to America." But the people of Israel were not so fortunate. In a village near Jerusalem, the soldiers ordered them to bow to the Greek idols and eat from a slaughtered pig. Both of these things were forbidden. In protest, Mattathias, the high priest, refused to obey. When the ceremony continued without him, he angrily drew his sword. In the fight that followed, lives were lost, though Mattathias escaped. He and his 5 sons, the Maccabees, became the leaders of a rebellion. Some said they were foolish, risking their lives in a doomed cause, but the Maccabees fought on. Their force was small, but they did not give up. The general sighed. He, too, was mired in an uphill fight. Independence from England had been declared 18 months earlier, in July 1776. What year, kids? 1776. Pay attention. This is important. All right. But declaring it had not ended the war. True, his forces had won some battles, but the British still controlled the major cities and much of the countryside. I understand, he said. We too have a cruel enemy who leaves us only with the choice of brave resistance or abject submission. There was one battle, the soldier went on, where the army of the Maccabees was greatly outnumbered. But Mattathias' son Judah rallied their troops. He reminded them that battles are not won or lost solely on strength in the field. Our enemies are not invincible, Judah told them, for they trust in arms and acts of daring. But we trust in the Almighty God. Kids, who do they trust in?
Almighty God.
That's more like it. Judah and his army won that fight, but many more followed. After 3 years, though, the Maccabees finally drove their enemies away. Let's say, hooray! The Israelites rejoiced in their new freedom and set about cleaning their temple. They were eager to worship again in the ways of their forefathers. But then, when it came to light the temple menorah, they could find only enough oil to last for 1 day. That was troubling. Once lit, the menorah was never supposed to go out. Still, they did not want to wait any longer. So they lighted the menorah, trusting that God would help them find more oil as quickly as possible. The search for oil was not easy. 1 day passed quickly, and none was found, yet the menorah remained lit. Another day went by. Still there was no oil, but the flames remained strong. 3 days, 4 days, the hunt continued. But all the fighting and destruction made finding things very difficult. In all, 8 days passed before any new oil arrived. And in all that time, the lights of the menorah never went out. The soldier blew on his hands to warm them. Truly a miracle happened there. So every year we remember this festival of lights. Tonight is the first night of Hanukkah, and therefore I lit only the first candle of the Hanukkah menorah, the Hanukkah. I will use this special candle, the Shamash, to light 1 candle each night until there are 8. 8 candles to honor the 8 days the oil lasted. The general made ready to leave. Your tale is a brave one, and your candles have brightened my evening. Perhaps we are not as lost as our enemies would have us believe. I rejoice in the Maccabees' success, though it is long past, he smiled grimly, and it pleases me to think that miracles may still be possible. The soldier nodded. The world would be a poor place without them. So it would, said General Washington, with a lighter mood than he had felt in many a day, and as he continued on his rounds, the wind quieted, and the Hanukkah candles burned long into the night. Do I have to read the author's note? So guys, this story of General Washington and Hanukkah is based on facts, but the tale itself must be taken on faith. It is known that in December 1778, Washington had lunch at the home of Michael Hart, a Jewish merchant in Easton, Pennsylvania. Cited in Jacob Rader Marcus's United States Jewry, 1776 to 1985. It was the middle of Hanukkah, and when Hart began to explain the holiday to the general, Washington replied that he knew it already, and then told the merchant and his family of meeting the Polish soldier at Valley Forge the year before. It was Hart's stepdaughter, Louisa, who reportedly committed the story to her diary, which was later recounted in Rabbi 1, Harold Scharfman's book, Jews on the Frontier. Since Washington himself kept no diary during the war years, he left no personal record of the event. Certainly, though, the story fits with the curiosity and reactions Washington displayed on later occasions. In that spirit, some of Washington's dialogue here has been borrowed from his own writings in the hope of echoing his real voice. The end.
Hey, guys. You're going to help me. You have to. Okay. So we are going to end this part with hamotzi, but before that ends, so I can just let you go, as soon as we're done doing hamotzi, I'll tell you the rest of the night what it's going to look like. So the rest of the night, we're going to start cooking. So we're going to have a lot of deep-fried foods. On the bar will be some other foods like salads and casseroles if you'd prefer, or if you want a little of each, that's fine. But we have some things like French fries, we have wings, we have sufgonio, which is donuts that are filled with all kinds of yummy things, jams, lemons, all kinds of yummy things. So make sure you get one of those. We have latkes coming out of the kitchen hot right off the frying pan. So make sure you try that. And then we're also going to have lots of deep-fried vegetables and things like that, and also deep-fried Snickers. So if you've never tried that, that's a treat. So we'll be doing that. While that's going on, we have a few games in here for the kiddos to play, so they can be playing games. We also are having a dreidel hold'em contest tonight, which Scotty will be heading up. So if you want to get involved in the dreidel hold'em, basically we play different rounds, and at the end of the night we'll have one table with 8 finalists coming together to win. So the other thing that's going on this year is we have an art contest over here, and that's the little table that's over here. So I see one entry. We're going to have to look to see if there's more. But if there's not more than one, then we know we have one winner for that tonight. If more show up, there's voting. But the other thing we have, over here on this side of the room, I have a table full of prizes or gifts. And tonight, this is my raffle box. So if your name's not in this box, this is on your honor, I need you to come find me and get your name in this box. And then we are going to be raffling off those prizes over there. And we did not even wrap them, so you can actually see what's over there that you might want. And there's some pretty good stuff. So if you want to peruse what's over there, come find me. There's prizes for everybody, men, women, kids. So we're just going to have a good time tonight. I think that covers everything that I was going to do. The dreidel hold'em will be at the end of the night. So we're going to do a hamotzi, and then we're going to eat and play games. Are you ready? I'm not good at starting songs. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together. As our joyful prayer is said, Baruch atah